So this building is critical, and I want to invite each one of us to really begin to look at ourselves, wherever we may find ourselves in terms of our profession, our family, individually, our organization. How can I be a conductor in building a railroad above ground that will not just lead to the freedom or the liberation of my family and my people, but the freedom and the liberation of all people? That's why I'm part of Budget, the Black Alliance for Just Liberation. Because I have found that as an African immigrant in the United States, if I don't connect my struggle with a struggle that's been going on, the civil rights movement, if I don't allow my struggle to connect with that struggle, enhance that struggle, and vice versa, and I may be part of the problem in the United States and be used as a pawn by the powers that be, instead of being part of the solution, therefore becoming a player towards the freedom and the liberation, not just of people of color in the United States, but so that this country can move towards a more perfect union in terms of that. So as an African, I've resolved that my presence here ought to enhance and strengthen the ongoing struggle for freedom and justice in this country. Otherwise, I may as well go home. You see, because law enforcement, you know, and historically in this country, I'm going to be viewed through the lens of my ancestors who came here before I did. And I believe that they want us to stand on their shoulders, to be able to continue to move the struggle for the freedom of all people in this country, to move that forward. So let me just share a couple of thoughts in terms of how, I would recommend that we engage in it. And some of us already doing it, and we've talked about it a little bit this afternoon, but I want to just try and frame it, a little differently. In the first place, I encourage us to listen. In the second place, I encourage us to learn. In the third place, I encourage us to leverage. Leverage. I think that's very, very important. Remember, I'm talking about movement building. We're constructing railroads above ground. Okay? So we cannot, and Harriet Tubman shows us, we cannot get too comfortable in that which is familiar. Because that might just place us in a comfort zone of our culture, of, our ethnicity, of our country, of whatever it is that makes us feel comfortable. Matters in this country, as Sister Chacha said, matters in this country are too severe right now for us to think that we're in a comfort zone. We, I believe, must always move ourselves to the construction zone, also known in California as the cold zone. See, where construction takes place on an ongoing basis for ourselves. So we have to listen. We have to find time, make time, create time to listen to one another's stories. That's one part of my recovery from apartheid. You see? Because you see, the apartheid regime, they told me all kinds of lies about the folk in Tanzania, about the folk in Zimbabwe, about the folk in Somalia, about the folk in Ethiopia, about my brothers and sisters in Togo and Ghana. All kinds of lies about what was going on in Nigeria, what was going on in Liberia, what was going on. All kinds of lies, including about my brothers and sisters in the United States called African American. So what I've discovered is that if I would just take the time to listen to the stories of our brothers and sisters, it would enable me to begin to see my story in their story. And once I'm able to do that, I've discovered that they then will avail themselves to listen to my story. And once we are able to listen to each other's stories, one thing I've discovered is that apartheid has just manifested itself in a different way in my brother or my sister's experience. So this listening piece is very, very important. So I just encourage us during this Black History Month, as African immigrants, take some time to just listen to the stories of other Africans and listen to the stories of African Americans. You will be amazed that the refugee story, some African Americans can tell you about some refugee stories that they experienced in this country. The exile experience, they'll be able to connect around that particular experience. The experience of being here first as a student, they'll be able to tell you about the experiences they've had moving to an institution where they were the only person that looked different, talked different. Just by listening, you know, in terms of that. So the listening piece is a very, very important piece for us in terms of listening, because listening enables us to have it puts us in a position to be educated, and when you put yourself in a position to be educated, you are able to nurture your roots, and you are able to nurture the roots of others. So this listening piece is very, very important. I don't have a problem with Facebook, but now and then I need some FaceTime before. See? Just to listen. The second one quickly is the learn piece. Listening provides us with information. Learning allows us to turn information into knowledge and move towards understanding. The learning piece moves us from not just being educated, it just doesn't move us to education, but it also moves us to reconciliation. How is it that now as a South African, I can reconcile the discrepancies in my education about African Americans or my brothers and sisters from other parts of the continent, how I can reconcile all of these discrepancies with the truths that they now tell me about their experiences. So the reconciliation piece is very, very important, and so it don't just nurture our roots, but it also, I believe, strengthens our wings to be able to fly. Because as a South African, apartheid has clipped my wings. It has told me some things about myself that I made a mistake of believing. That I can only go so far, I can only do so much. I mean, it has given me this limited, mentality of who I am and what I can accomplish. And as a result of that, even though the cage would be left open for me to fly away, but because my wings have been clipped, I'm not able to fly away.